Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now new customers, when you sign up using promo code DNVR, you make a $5 bet, and when it wins, you get yourself $200 in bonus bets, and you get it instantly. That's with code DNVR, and that's with DraftKings Sportsbook. I am Patrick Lyons.
And I'm Susie Hunter. I'm back. Let's go.
Back in action for opening day week.
Oh my gosh, opening day is days away. I can't
3
believe I
days.
had to do a Vegas trip days before opening day.
All right. So
I feel very disheveled.
all the research that you did out there to see if Las Vegas is a viable big league city, is it?
Yes.
All right. Then the trip was worth it.
I gotta say, I mean, I think Vegas is low-key a good sports town. I think they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're going for it.
Yeah. That's nice. I think any place that has a good just vibe of excitement and life is probably going to be a good sports town. The only maybe exception to that would be like New Orleans. Sorry, Saints fans. Sorry, Pelicans fans. I mean, they don't even have minor league baseball right now, which is kind of weird to think about, right?
I know, yeah. No baseball.
Yeah. So that's good. Vegas was good. And we're a couple days away from opening day, and we've got some roster news to discuss. We'll continue our player preview series. Kris Bryant, what can we expect? What should we expect from him? Jurickson Profar, Jonathan Daza as well. We'll cover up the entire outfield for the Rockies. But the opening day roster is lining up over the weekend. Mike Moustakas, Harold Castro, and Ty Blach were all added to the 40-man rosters. 3 guys that we did have in our roster projection the last go-round.
Yeah, here's my question, though. What was the point of taking Ty Blach off the 40-man just to put him back on?
That he had to earn his spot. We were talking last week that Jamie Moyer, a guy who was a Rocky for a period of time, came up with the Rockies, ended up coming back. 7 consecutive spring trainings. He was not on a 40-man. He was a non-roster invite. Had to fight his way on. So Ty Blach is now 2 for 2.
Okay.
Twice
good.
minor league invite, twice makes the opening day roster.
You know what? Good for him.
That's pretty neat.
Let's go, Little Cat.
Yeah. So we've got Moose. Mm-hmm. We've got Little Cat.
Yes.
And then we need something for Castro. Is he the Casty Cougar? I don't. Casty's like a nickname. It's a very one of those lazy nicknames, you know. But is he a cougar? We got to find out what his animal type is. We need a third one.
I don't know if he's a cougar because, cougar is kind of already taken by a very specific set of people.
Do tell. Maybe you shouldn't. So Moustakas has definitely earned his spot in a very short amount of time. Again, you want to have that veteran presence there. It was nice. We got Charlie Blackmon and CJ Cron back after missing some time.
Their backs?
Because of their back, yes. Not sure if they got a bacchiotomy officially or unofficially. So Moustakas is some really good insurance to have. Elehuris Montero should be the starting third baseman for opening day. Bud Black essentially has said as much. So that's really positive. But Moustakas during his offseason training, worked with Marlon Byrd, a guy who kind of had a resurgence and a revitalization to his career. And he also was working on maybe a little bit of a footwork, getting some boxing tips from George Foreman III. Do you know this? So my question to you,
Is George
Susie,
Foreman III George Foreman's third kid?
So
or
that
is this
was-
a third generation? Because I know all of his kids are named George Foreman.
Well, there you go. I'm not going to say you blew the spot. You made the spot even better because you know your stuff. No, you know your stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. I was going to ask you, do you know who George Foreman Jr. is? It would be his older brother.
Yes,
And
okay.
George Foreman IV would be his younger brother. So you were ahead of me there. That's good. That's good you know this.
George Foreman. What a guy. What a
there's-
weird dude.
If there's anything you know about him, it's that he has 5 sons, all named George, and that he was a staple of every college dormitory from 1995 to 2010. You had to have a George Foreman grill. That was a key appliance.
Yes. I had one. I love my George Foreman.
That's what we know about him. Bouchard, Rodgers, and Ryan Rolison. I was worried that maybe you'd have to add him to the 60-day IL. That just means he's not going to be ready until June 1st or so. So those moves kind of fit. You didn't lose any players because of it. So it's just a logistical thing. So that kind of worked out. But we do have 2 more roster spots up for grabs, Susie. For the hitters that remain, we're looking at Alan Trejo and Michael Toglia. Forget the fact that you might need to take Toglia if Jurickson Profar is not ready by opening day or CJ Cron's not ready at first base. If you're just looking at bringing one of those 2 guys to San Diego, are you leaning towards utility infielder like Alan Trejo or maybe a younger guy like Michael Toglia?
I mean, I love Michael Toglia. I think, especially coming off of this WBC, we got to go with Alan Trejo.
I think so.
You got to strike while the iron's hot. The iron's hot.
The iron's very hot. Iron's very hot. Tolio could probably benefit from getting more at bats, right?
Yeah,
Trejo's coming
yeah.
off the bench. You go, all right, he can manage it. He's a little older, a little more experienced, can do that thing. You also only have Harold Castro right now that can maybe play middle infield, so you don't want to leave yourself exposed there if Tovar needs a day or two. So I would agree with you on that. And then the only two pitchers who remain, Gavin Hollowell, who had missed some time with some back stiffness, but he's been getting back into games, and Connor Siebold. Jake Bird did get reassigned to the minor league camp, so he's not there. So you got Connor Siebold, you got Gavin Hollowell as the final two guys. Siebold's more of a starter type. You already have a long reliever in Ty Blach, so I think you're going to feel good about either one of those guys. I tend to lean towards maybe Siebold. There's been some buzz around him, but I'd be really happy if Gavin Hollowell actually broke camp.
I think I'm leaning more towards a Hollowell situation.
Okay. Yeah.
I think, we got a little bit out of him. We brought him up at the end of the season.
Right.
So I don't know. I think I would be comfortable with that.
Yeah. And he's like Justin Lawrence 2.0, where you're like, let's see what this guy's got. He's got some upside. This could be very exciting, very enticing. So you like that possibility. As I mentioned, Jurickson Profar, not in America yet. He's stuck in Curacao.
Yeah, what is happening? How do we fix this?
He's in Curacao. He's working with the consulate to try to get his visa and everything. So hopefully he can be in left field on opening day against his former team as well.
That would be cool.
That would be interesting. Just to kind of literally play 0 spring training games. He was in the WBC, but he was not with the team before that, and he hasn't reported yet to Rockies camp. I think Tuesday's the last spring training game. So he could quite literally have 0 spring training games in.
Well, at least he seems like he would be ready.
I think so.
Yeah. We can trust that.
He's 30 years old. I mean, he's a veteran guy. We'll talk more about him in just a little bit. Elehuris Montero won the 2023 Abby Greer Award, basically as a spring training MVP. It's an award they typically give to younger players. You don't necessarily have to be a rookie. Montero actually isn't a rookie, so that's kind of a bummer if you think, oh man, this guy's going to break out. He could be a Rookie of the Year award candidate. Unfortunately, no, doesn't have that eligibility. But the Abby Greer Award is actually named for a young fan. I believe it was a 6-year-old girl who in 2002 was struck by a car after a Rockies game, not only a couple blocks away, unfortunately. So that's nice that they're able to kind of honor her and have her name live on in that way. Previous winners last year, Ezekiel Tovar, who broke out in a big way, ended up, we got to see him in the big leagues. Ryan McMahon in 2019, Trevor Story ahead of that big rookie season in 2016, Corey Dickerson in 2013, Troy Tulowitzki in 2007. So it's a pretty good award to win.
We got some names on this list.
We got some serious names. That's it. And we've got some names, we've got some faces, we've got some personalities here at the DNVR bar down on the corner of Colfax and York.
Yes.
4:00 every day. I mean, I know it was nice when it was 10 a.m. for the March Madness game. That was so awesome.
Fun. It was a little hard to hear each other when we were doing the show, but it was so much fun.
My favorite part of it, besides being with everybody, was actually getting to eat the food. Because in the off season, our shows are at this time.
Yeah.
And then even during the season, we were figuring that out today when we'll do the show. But it's like, can you grab food? Like, I want to eat here. The food's so good.
Yeah.
And I only get to see pictures of it or only get to look at the menu.
Oh my gosh.
And dream longingly. I finally got a chance to have the chicken and waffles, which was delicious during March Madness.
I hadn't even had the chicken and waffles yet.
They were good.
And they were actually so good.
You should have the cheesesteak. No, I don't think we have a cheesesteak.
We don't have a cheesesteak, and else I wouldn't.
You would.
Why are you trying to fight me? I just got back.
You would put your foot down.
I just got back from vacation. Alyssa, do you see this shit?
You wouldn't allow a cheesesteak, I don't think, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, between me and Allie.
Oh, that's true.
There's no way. There's no way a cheesesteak is happening.
But if it ever did happen, it would be good because
he's testing me right now.
Because you and Allie would have to approve of it. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
You have to go. Wow, it actually. The odds were stacked against this cheesesteak, but this cheesesteak has done the job.
Let's reel it in.
That's it. 15% off is what you get to reel in. 15% of your check. That's it. You reel it back into your pocket if you're a diehard. It's great. Sign up. Get that diehard package, the membership free shirt every year. All kinds of really great rebates. Access to the Diehards Only Discord. 20% on all the gear at dnvrlocker.com. 20% off any of our party bus and takeovers, which we got one on April 29th. It's gonna be really exciting.
I'm so excited to be a part of the takeover and just leave you to do the Rockies game by yourself.
That's it. No, you can just corral people in. You can be the kind of the wrangler of people, like maybe bring them on set.
I'm gonna be the wrangler of vibes, you know?
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun.
We'll figure it out.
And you know what? If you can't get down to the bar, you can still have fun on DraftKings Sportsbook because baseball season's here. We're into the Final Four. Congratulations to the UConn Huskies. You won that matchup. Both our teams kind of went the furthest because I had Gonzaga, you had UConn. UConn won that one. They seemed like they were kind of due for that. So
Huskies.
That was nice. Yours and Scott Oberg's.
Yes.
That was nice to see that. So you can still bet on Final Four. You know, NHL playoffs is coming up, NBA playoffs, all that, the no sweat same game parlays. All you got to do is use promo code DNVR. You place a $5 bet, and when it wins, $200 in bonus bets instantly from DraftKings Sportsbook. You can do all the league winners, end of year awards for MLB, all kinds of wonderful things, head-to-head matchups, who's going to hit more home runs, what team is going to win more games. It's fantastic. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You put in the code DNVR. You place a $5 bet, and when it wins for you, even if it is an overwhelming favorite, which you got to be careful in March Madness because that didn't happen very much.
Yeah,
First time we haven't had a 1, 2, or 3 seed in the Final Four. But if you win, take an easy bet. Take a gimme. You place 5, you win 200 in bonus bets instantly with code DNVR and with DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Thank you.
I'm starting on a roll here after picking Japan to score more than 4.5 against Mexico last week. I was right on that, right? They got those big runs in the 9th. So I got another one for you that's plus 700.
Ooh.
And it's a juicy one.
Is it spicy?
It makes tons of sense. Yeah, it's spicy, kind of like Old Bay seasoning spicy. Because I am going with the most wins in MLB in April will be the Baltimore Orioles. Plus 700.
I don't hate that, Patrick.
Here's why. We know that they're, a good team, good young team. And they're a lot of these teams that are kind of projected to take a big step forward. They're good in the first half, and then maybe they fall off a little bit. They don't know how to do the championship season. They don't know how to do the marathon. They don't know how to do the grind quite as well, but that's okay. We're just talking about April, and we're talking about a very easy schedule for the Orioles. 4 games at home against the A's. Oh, love that.
I mean,
there's 4 wins.
They better get those.
8. All 8 of their games against the Tigers come in April. 8, not 6. They got 4 at home, 4 on the road against Detroit. That's the good luck of the draw.
Oh, weird. Yeah, good for them.
2 against the Nationals. Shall I continue? 6 against the Red Sox, who might be okay, but I think it's going to take them a while to figure out what's going to work for them.
Exactly. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be okay at the start of the season.
Exactly. So it might take them some time to gel. That's why you got to hit Orioles most wins in the month of April, plus 700. DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. That's an easy one.
I low-key love it.
That's a good one,
Do you want to get to one of the comments we've got?
I would love to.
We got Michael in the chat saying, despite the visa issues, Profar is a great pickup. Don't know why he was hanging around in the ether for so long.
Yeah, he had an option that he opted out. Basically, got a $1 million buyout for his deal with San Diego. Basically, all he needed to get was like $6.5 million. His deal for next year was $7.5. But since he got paid $1 million on a buyout, all he needed was to get was 6.5. So he's really just waiting for the right deal. Boris got the right deal, find the match. At a certain point, because Profar was going out to play with Team Netherlands, it kind of just made sense to like sit back, wait for someone to get injured, slide in there. Jose Iglesias kind of did that. You wait around for a good spot and say, hey, now you really need me. 2 weeks ago, you didn't, so you're going to give me a low ball offer. Now I'm going to get what I want. And so now he's getting $7.75 million from the Rockies.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
That's not bad.
Not bad, dude.
Also not bad. A new alternative identity. That would be for because it's Minor League Monday. Eugene Emeralds. Did you get a chance to see this one?
I actually have seen this one, and I wanted to look into it more, but I think I have a guess about the name.
Yes.
But yeah, let's reveal it, please. Don't let me take your bet.
The Eugene Emeralds this season, about 6 games or so, are going to have the alternate identity of the Exploding Whales. Yes. They've got a couple different alternative logos. They got the primary logo, the word mark, secondary, even a tertiary one, which has the whale fin with a stick of dynamite inside of the whale fin. I love it. And the colors and the jerseys. It looks amazing.
Honestly, it's just like this vintage style font. It's giving Whalers. It's giving Hartford Whalers. So I definitely love this. So hold on. I want to talk about the name Exploding Whales. Don't whales, when they get beached and they're dead and they're on shore, don't they build up gases and explode? Is that what these are named after?
I don't know if that particular part is true. I think that makes sense about gas building up, right?
No, whales do be exploding.
But if you notice, there's a stick of dynamite in there as the L and the mark. So apparently, at some point in the 1970s, this happened somewhere over in the United Kingdom. To get rid of the whale, they literally had to blow it up. They couldn't, I don't know, get a forklift down there. So they had to blow it up, and it was easier just to like kind of clean up the debris. And I think that might be like the only time that that's ever happened. I thought that was like a very common thing that went down, but no. So I don't know if they still dispose of the whale carcasses.
That is crazy. Why are we
it's a little bit morbid, but
what are the circumstances under this discarding of whale carcasses? Is it like they've died in an inconvenient place?
Yeah, I mean they're beached. Yeah, it's
okay.
You need like honestly 50 strongmen. I don't know how you get rid of it. You could push it back into the ocean, I guess. Maybe that actually could be a way.
Maybe
that it's handled now.
I just gotta say, out of all the minor league alternate identities, this might be the most disgusting one yet. Like it's very gross. It has no business being this gross.
It kind of does. Yeah, and I was originally thinking like, oh, Eugene Emeralds. Okay, obviously this, they're in just outside of like Portland, Oregon. Hey, that's a coast town. I'm sure they've done that there. But again, I think it only happened maybe once in the 1970s in the United Kingdom. So I don't know that there's any like local ties to a famous whale that was exploded.
I'm gonna do some Googling real fast.
Yes, please do on that one. But look at the uniforms. I mean, they're great. Again, good color composition. It's kind of a tan jersey on the back with the number. You've got the little stick of dynamite where it explodes. It's good coloring. I think it's really good.
It's coloring. A lot of pattern. I don't know if I like this much pattern on a jersey.
Yeah. Mark in the chat saying that the tertiary logo of just the fin with the dynamite is good. They're going all out. They're not just saying, hey, we have a clever name. We need to have everything to be lined up. So I think that that works. And it's kind of amazing to think about with minor league teams how they're having all these alternative identities. Is that it puts so many different colors in their team store. Like it's not just like, all right, well, look, we're a minor league team. We have this one color and we have a bunch of different logos, but really uses the same color scheme. It allows them to still have fun and support their local team and say, hey, look, now I have a little baby blue with a little bit of red for my my typically all green Eugene Emeralds. It's pretty great.
All right. I've got this story from theinertia.com. So I don't really know.
Site.
I don't know too much about this site. But there's a story. There's a video of a whale explosion caught on camera in California. And it's because of a gassy buildup from decomposition.
There you go.
So, this did happen in California fairly recently.
There we go. So you don't even need the stick of dynamite sometimes, then apparently.
No. I think the whales just do it on their own. This happens in Oregon. This is a thing.
That's it.
I told you it was a thing.
I didn't doubt you.
I think you did a little bit.
I thought it made sense.
I think you doubted me a little bit, but it's okay. We'll move on.
I think it's gross. Maybe if you have an exploding whale for that reason, I think it's, again, with the stick of dynamite, is like, oh, that makes it fun. It also makes it more gross, but the stick of dynamite is, again, I think is celebrating the singular event in which that originally happened, and it's a play on that. And so maybe it kind of is like, hey, we're having some fun with this weird, gross thing that nature does.
I don't know. Why would a minor league team pay homage to an event that happened halfway across the world? I think it might be more of a Yard Goats type situation where the Yard Goats have the name.
Sure.
But a Yard Goat is not a goat, but they made the mascot a goat to make it make sense. So they added the stick of dynamite to make it make sense.
There we go. That could. I think
I think my theory has more weight to it.
Sure.
I like mine.
I mean, I did read what I said online, so I do know that is true.
No,
but
I'm just kidding.
minor league rule changes, so they're gonna mimic what MLB has, which I think makes a lot of sense. So there's a little less time, like 14 seconds with nobody on base, 19 seconds with runners on. It's only gonna be 18 seconds for AA and lower. So I'm wondering if MLB is like, let's really make these kids work hard. We got to make the minor league games even quicker if the big league games are going to be like 2.5, 240.
Are they just seeing how far they can push it? Are we just like testing the limits here?
They're building, a generation of anxiety-riddled ball players.
I'm like a little anxious thinking about this, not going to lie.
Pickoffs are kind of the same. With 2 disengagements, third one, you have to have an out. Bases are still going to be larger, and the leagues are going to monitor stolen base activity. So in the second half, they could actually move second base completely like inside the baseline. Like if you were to actually, draw the lines, you can say, well, as long as second base is touching the baseline, it's fine. It's kind of like how first base, now it's closer from home plate to first base. You could have moved back the little posts a little bit further so that it was still 90 feet, but they didn't actually do that. So we could see some more infield singles, this year because of that. All around, no shifting, same kind of deal. Florida State League, I think we might have talked about it last year. They got that little diamond behind second base. So like you can't be like almost directly behind second base. You have to stay out of that zone. Pitch comm, only for AAA, but not AA and down. Okay. Again, maybe that's just throwing too much at these young guys. Also, only the catcher's going to be able to call. It won't be the pitchers. Because that's even still new for the big leaguers this year.
Yeah.
Is for the pitchers to have the communicator on their little belt. Automatic ball strike system. AAA and the Florida State League, which is basically all of the spring training facilities down in Florida in the Grapefruit League in Florida. They got all the cameras and everything, so they'll have full ABS. What'll actually happen is the first 3 series is going to be completely automated. And then the next 3, because they all play 6-game series, then the next 3, they use the challenge system where you get 3 a game. If you don't like it, you put your hand on your helmet, or someone from the dugout will let you know. Teams have been issued iPads to basically see these pitches and say, yeah, tap your head, Johnny. And Johnny taps his head, and all right, now we're going to challenge it. So first 3 games, pure robot. Last 3, you have an opportunity to kind of challenge it. So I'm glad that it's working its way up from the Arizona Fall League this last year to now it's actually in the minors.
As is customary, we work it up.
That's it. It'll be exciting. Pacific Coast League is going to use this right away. International League is going to use it, I think, starting around like April 19th. I think maybe just some of those ballparks on the East Coast don't have all of the technology. They're also going to set the strike zone parameters at like 52.5% of a player's height. Is going to be the top of the strike zone, and then 27% is the batter's reported height. So the Subaru strike zone, it's a box, and if it's in there, it's a strike. Not exactly. So I don't know if the folks running the Subaru strike zone, they also don't do minor league games, but when the time comes for it to come in the big leagues, they're going to have to get all the heights. I think I also even read that they're going to be going and like measuring like players, like getting up-to-date measurements because guys will add 3-4 inches in an extreme circumstance, from the time that they might have been signed at 16 or drafted at 18 if they're American-born players. So that'll be really interesting to see that in the minors. And they're also they're working with enhanced grip baseball, so kind of like what they have in Japan. They're working with Dow Chemicals to kind of have something so they don't have to use that Delaware River mud to rub up, and like the poor attendance. They've always had to do this. I think umpires did it for a while, and then it switched over to clubhouse attendants had to do it, and they have to wear gloves because that mud will really stain your skin.
Oh, it's a whole process, yeah.
And they're doing I want to say 200 before every game, something like that. I mean, those guys have serious forearm strength. The grip strength is amazing. So that'll be interesting to see what'll happen with that. That'll be in play in the Southern League from opening day through July 13th, so kind of their all-star break. Even though there's no all-star game anymore in the minors. They've kind of done away with that. Have you realized that? I only realized that this offseason.
I didn't realize that.
The last 2 years when we've gotten to July, I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to see it announced somewhere, and then you get distracted by the MLB all-star game. And it was this offseason talking with people. I'm like, wait, sometimes things go under the radar.
Yeah.
But then when you search it out, you find it. I can't find anything about it. We haven't had any minor league all-star games the last 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like the Futures game. It's weird, right?
I mean, I guess if we're doing the Futures game, is that not more of an all-star game? But
it's a bummer that it's gone away, but I'm sure they've looked at the numbers and say, financially, how much money are we making off of this, AA Southern League thing, and we got to fly guys in or bus and to do the whole game and everything. Maybe it's not worth the bang for the buck that they're paying for it. That's the only thing I could think of. So hopefully that will come back because that's always fun. It's nice for those guys to kind of get acknowledged at the various levels of the minors.
Yeah. We need to be giving these guys a little more credit.
Yeah, I think so.
They're taking part in all these experiments from Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
We might as well give them a platform.
Hey, we got an experiment going on at Infinity Park in Glendale. It's the American Raptors.
There we go.
It's a rugby team. They are fantastic. They are amazing athletes. they play all sports. They've played sports before, and they hadn't played rugby until recently. They're learning it now. It's amazing.
I got a chance to meet all of these rugby guys when we had our meet and greet last week, and
Very cool.
yeah, they're like, oh, I used to play this, I used to play that. We got guys who used to be baseball players. I'm like, this is wild. That's really cool.
It's the same thing with bobsled. Like, you'd be surprised how much of that exists in sports of like, you kind of don't get a chance to do it until you're at like the highest level. Like that just kind of happens. I think Antonio Gates was a guy. He was a really good Division I basketball player, and then out of nowhere, he's a All-Pro tight end for the San Diego Chargers. So I mean, sometimes that happens, and the American Raptors are doing amazing things, learning the game. You can actually learn with them every week with the DNVR Rugby Podcast hosted by Colton Strickler. He's amazing. Head over to AmericanRaptors.com where they got free tickets for all their events and whatnot. It's, dare I say, rugging awesome. Also awesome is Avalanche Ale. Talk about 3 A's. Yes. Avalanche Ale, awesomeness. It's amazing.
There it is, here on our set.
That's it. It's hasn't stopped being that time of the year. When you're the reigning Stanley Cup champ, it's always time for an Avalanche Ale. It's got the American Amber that blends the pale, chocolate, and caramel malts. It's a well-rounded, flavorful beer. Gets the job done. It's delicious.
And it's definitely avalanche season today. Like, there's snow outside right now.
That's a great point. It's not avalanche time yet because it is 11:38 on a Monday.
You speak for yourself. I just got back from Vegas.
That's true. Hair of the dog. Crack one of those open. You'll feel a little bit better.
I need it.
Especially because it's crafted for balance. And so if you need a little bit more of a balance,
there we go.
That's going to do that job. It's made with 100% renewable energy, Colorado ingredients. It's a Colorado company. Official beer of DNVR. Check out the Breck Beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a Breck Brew near you. And Jive Hive, of course, JIVEHYVE. They are revolutionizing the game for you to get your marijuana, get your weed, get whatever it is that you need, but you don't have to leave the house. The roads, not great this morning. They're getting better, but still could be a headache. Maybe you even got plowed in, right? You just got a pile of snow blocking your car in and you can't get out. You go to jivehive.com, you place that order, you notice you're going to get a little bit of a discount there because it's not a typical brick and mortar. They don't have the same overhead costs. It's really nice, and probably one of the biggest pieces that I think that makes Jive Hive better than anyone else in the game right now is just the privacy. It's just the security piece of nobody knowing your business and the convenience of getting it that day or placing an order saying, hey, you know what? Friday night, I'm excited for the games, or opening day, game 2. It's a late one on the West Coast. I already know I'm going to go ahead and buy that from Jive Hive, get a really good deal, get it delivered to my house, and I'm going to do that by going to JIVEHYVE.com. They serve Monument, Falcon, Peyton, Fountain, Woodland Park, Security, Widefield, Aurora, Greenwood Village. That's jivehive.com.
I wish I had Jive Hive in Vegas. We needed it.
It's not legalized out there? Is that the one thing that's not?
I think they might have delivery out there, but I don't know their stuff.
It's not the same.
I don't know. And also, like, it was way, way marked up.
Yeah. You don't have to deal with that with Jive Hive, that's for sure.
Yeah, but Jive Hive doesn't do that. I would have loved Jive Hive this weekend.
Kris Bryant is a player who was marked up to $182 million, signed to a 7-year deal for the Colorado Rockies, and last year was very much a wash. We need to talk about him. We need to talk about what some of those expectations could be. Start off with the good news. He's had a great spring. 4 home runs. He's looked really solid.
I love a great spring. I hope that that's not the best thing we say about him this year because, last year was such a disappointment for everyone involved. He was upset. We were upset. And we needed that production from him.
Yes.
And I want to get that this year.
Yeah. 3 different stints on the injured list, 2 for the back, 1 for the plantar fasciitis that wiped out pretty much the entire second half of his season. Did hit 5 home runs. All on the road, as we know. Did have a 2 home run game. Kind of forget about that. In Arizona, hit over 300. I think he had like 341, I want to say, in July when he came back the first time with the back injury. So he's a guy that in April, watching him hit around Coors Field, which it's very hitter friendly, not just for the home run aspect of it, but just the fact that the outfield is so big. He can dunk those baseballs in. And I really think either 2023, this year or next year, Kris Bryant will win a batting title.
Oh, these are strong words.
I'm going bold prediction early on here in this player preview.
Hot takes in the player previews. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he hit 306, in his limited action, which is good. It's pretty much, one of the best seasons that he's had. I think actually might have been tops. Going back, I've said it numerous times, his profile and Michael Kadire is just really similar. Kadire, won that batting title. And I think Bryant is going to be up there. Let's not forget about his pedigree, because that's the thing is, I don't know that a ton of people have forgotten his pedigree, because it's just disappointing how last year went, but there's still that potential in there. He's not very far removed from a 2021 season where he was an all-star. He did play in the postseason with San Francisco, was one of the few guys that hit for them. Batted .471, was 8 for 17, walked once, so he had a 500 on-base percentage, 647 slugging percentage, and this was against the Los Angeles Dodgers pitching staff. So, he did his best to really carry that club. He's only a year removed from that. So, to go in and say, well, the Rookie of the Year, that was a long time ago in 2015. The MVP, that was 2016.
Yeah, but he had a great 2021, and we forget so quickly.
Yeah, but he's still on that precipice. He still has, several good years left. And he's moving over to right field. That's another element to this. Charlie, we know he was pretty much the full-time DH last year, even though I think it only ended up being like 82 games officially as the DH. But Bryant's moving over to right field. And I was curious, do you think, we already got Mike Moustakas on the roster, Elehuris Montero, 24 years old. He's going to be there at third base. But when Rodgers first went down and the conversation became, hey, McMahon's going to go over to second base, Bryant was asked about moving back to third base. No one had talked to him about it yet, but he also seemed ready for that challenge, if need be, to play a little third base. Do you think we might see him once? It might be an extreme situation, but do you think we're going to see him once at third base this season?
I think it would have to be an extreme situation. I think third base is in his past. I don't think we will.
So you will take the under on a half?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over. I think we'll see him once. It might be 3 innings, but I'll take the over. The Rockies just don't have a lot of luck going for them right now. So like you said, extreme circumstances.
This is true.
This could be that season.
And we know the Rockies love when every guy can play every position.
It's true.
But, when we talked to him about it, he only seemed like he was talking about it because we asked him about it, It seemed like that was just not a conversation. He was like, yeah, I would if they needed me to. No one's asked me to, so.
I'm sort of curious that it could be laying the groundworks for him to come back to third base full time. Now, Montero, again, go check out the player preview series here on the DNVR Sports channel. His defense is still a question mark. If he can't stay at third base, you need a third baseman. Well, you already got one in Ryan McMahon. But are you keeping Brendan Rodgers? He only has 2 more years left before he's a free agent. So if you've got to get creative, you can say, well, we still do have Kris Bryant, who can play third base. It's been a while, but we feel confident enough in his athleticism to do that. It will just be interesting to see if any seeds are planted. I don't think one game is enough to say that, they're thinking like that. But I also don't think it's a bad idea to operate that way. I think it's thinking outside the box to say, you know what, we want to be able to be as flexible as possible with our roster. So you know what, play a couple games over at third base, and you might not ever play there again, but we could utilize that flexibility if McMahon becomes a full-time second baseman, they move on from Rodgers or something else. You never know.
Interesting. I don't think we will. I want to do the hot take and say we're not going to see him at third.
The hot take is Rockies will not be creative.
I'm going to say, the Rockies will not be creative. They'll be creative in other ways, but.
We hope to see his home run stroke back, obviously at Coors Field. Now, Kris Bryant needs 28 home runs for 200 on his career. Susie, do you think he hits 28 home runs this season?
Oh.
It's a good number, right?
I would love it if he did. That is such a good number.
Does that feel a little high?
It feels a little high only because we only got 5 last year.
Yeah.
But he's been so hot this spring training.
Yeah.
Oof.
Almost as many in spring training as he did all of last year.
I think what's going to happen, I think we get no more than 20 home runs. So, that's much better than last year. I think we're going to, be just short of his milestone this year.
I'll say 25 for him, so I think he also comes up short. But again, I think we know enough about covering this team, and we know enough for the fans out there. We want to make you feel good and set you up for success. So if he does hit 25, okay, that was what we thought, essentially. But if he hits more, guess what? We get to feel good about it.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win.
Set the bar low, kids. That is the lesson.
You kind of have to do that just a little bit with this team right now. We did have an article that just went up this morning, 8 questions, 8 storylines really that the Rockies need to, answer this season and figuring it out. This week we'll be doing our predictions. I don't want to tip your hand too soon, but have you thought about 100 losses yet? Has it taken, you're like, yeah, I can see it, or are you more leaning towards probably not?
I think before a couple of moves were made this offseason, I think we were looking at a 100-loss team. I think we could be looking at a 100-loss team. I don't think we will. I don't think we'll get there. I don't think we'll get there this season.
Don't tell us your total yet. Don't tell us your total.
No, I don't. You know what? And I don't have a total yet. But if you asked me this question 3 weeks ago, I'd say we could be looking at a 100-loss team this year. Agreed. And now I'm not so sure.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have them at 100, but the first number may start with a 6, and it may not go so high that it's nice. I'll just leave it at that. But let us know over here. Thanks for everyone in the comments today. Yeah, in the chat, they like the under as well on the 28 home runs. So again, could be a pleasant surprise. Hit us up on Twitter at DNVR_Rockies. At Patrick D. Lyons is where I am at on Twitter.
You can find me at the Susie Hunter on all platforms.
This has been momentous. We still got a lot more player previews to go into this week, and kind of previewing the season. Thursday, opening day, 2:10 in San Diego. You don't have to be there. It will be on television.
I was going to say,
but it will be at 2:10.
It's going to be on here, right? It's got to be.
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
I was under the impression it was. But anyway, yeah, we'll figure it out.
You know what they say about assumptions?
Oh.
But you know what? Some assumptions are correct, because yes, you will see us tomorrow. Did you say you're at the Susie Hunter?
Yeah.
On all social platforms? You did.
Yeah, I did.
This is, you know what they say about momentum and assumptions? Podcasts, baseball, DNVR Rockies, DNVR Sports Channel, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Bye. See ya.